Hey, I'm Kendra with Profectus. I am a business coach, and my job is to help you make your life easier as a business owner. Today we are at the Cove over in Post Falls. It is a fabulous place for co-working and office space, and I'd like to introduce you to Carrie Briner, who's the owner of the Cove.
Hey there. We love having small business owners like Kendra here. Kendra is an amazing business coach. She comes in here, uses the space, and also contributes to the environment. One of the things about the Cove is that we wanted to have an affordable place for small business and entrepreneurs to come network, collaborate, coach, and train each other, and then have a great space to bring clients. And it's worked out super well, and we get to work with people like Kendra.
Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to go into a couple sessions. I just really wanted you guys to be able to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that we do every single day as business coaches. And so we're going to go into a session with an individual client and then another Zoom session with a group client.
Hi.
How are you?
Doesn't like confrontation, and he had a really good, constructive criticism about what's going on at the work. And
okay. So out of that experience, what's your biggest takeaway?
I personally need to be
Do you think that, what do you think would have been the most proactive way to deal with that entire situation and potentially completely avoid any kind of disgruntled employees?
I've been so busy and
and with that, so team meetings, they take time, right? There's no So I just finished up one of our one-to-one coaching sessions. What I love about the one-to-one sessions is that we get to take a deep dive into all of the areas of their business. We talk about strategies, processes, team building, leadership, anything that gets them to their own vision of success. This business owner had an employee that just quit, just decided that they were going to get another job. And unfortunately, what had been happening behind the scenes was that the employee was experiencing some toxicity. Some of the other employees were talking about each other. There just wasn't a good atmosphere for this person. So unfortunately, they left. And that's always a really hard discussion to have because the business owner had no idea that that was coming. What we talk a lot about is as proactive as a business owner can be, that is such a key to their own success. And having those weekly meetings, team meetings take time. And time is money. And so what we talked about was if she had had those team meetings, would that have potentially prevented this person from quitting? Well, yes. It's kind of obvious. But what I said was, do you want to take time with team meetings or do you want to take time trying to find another employee and losing money in the process? So that was huge for her. Those are just some of the things that we get to talk about with the one-to-one coaching. One of the things that I think is really important in our community is to have good conversations with other amazing business owners. It's one of the great ways to get the word out about what you do. So right now we're going to chat with Corey with Bahlr. He's been working on my videos for the last year, and he's an amazing business owner. So here we go.
Can you diffuse that whole persona of insecurity in a business owner when it comes to their income situations and the differences of them?
Okay, man, that's a really good question. There's so much to that because revenue is different than profit. Margins are different than, gross margin is different than net margin. Mm-hmm. And I would say the biggest thing that a business owner needs to know is they just need to be educated. Whether the answer is good or bad, mm-hmm. They just need to know where they stand in their business. The fastest way they can go out of business is to provide services that they're losing money on. Mm-hmm. And
how do they know that?
Well,
how can they discover what services are losing money on and what they're not? Because from my perspective, there are many services I do, and I'm like, I can't really tell, right? Mm. Obviously, it probably would be to hire you, right?
Yeah.
And so do you narrow that down for them?
Yeah, so we go through an entire breakdown of, what is their revenue, what is their gross margin, and then what is their gross profit margin percentage? That's a huge thing that most business owners don't even know. And then they can actually set goals from that percentage. I even coach business owners that have MBAs or have PhDs in business because the theory of business is so much different than the implementation of it. Mm-hmm. Go back and read some of the reviews that I've received from the class, the Bold Business class that we've done. There's one person that has an MBA, and they loved that we actually talk about the implementable steps that they can take on a day-to-day journey through their business to discover, like, so you got into business because you love graphic design. You got into business, somebody got into business because they love brewing beer, and they're like, oh, I can make an entire business out of that. And that's great. But if you don't know the implementation parts of the business structure, then that's why most businesses fail.
When you enter into one of your meetings with people that hire you to do one-to-ones or groups, you're saying, what is it that you want to get out of this? What are some examples that you've heard that they want, and then how do you fulfill those?
Good question. I would say, I mean, it just really varies on where they're at in business and kind of, how much knowledge they already have, but usually it's some sort of day-to-day challenge, whether it's, I just lost an employee, now what do I do? How do I hire somebody? I'm really feeling overwhelmed right now with the amount of tasks that I have. How can I prioritize and move into a situation where I can kind of rediscover that freedom that I wanted when I first started?
As entrepreneurs, we have so many plans. We plan so much, we have so many ideas, and I think we get hung up. Like, planning's good, but do you find that's really difficult to get entrepreneurs to execute on things? Like you were saying earlier, you had this thing, and they were like, I want to implement. Well, then implement.
Yeah, just do it, is what you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Just okay, fine, just go do it.
Like, what,
But
do you
there's
just
so
have to
many-
walk them through the steps, or?
Sometimes it's about the function of the steps. Most of the time it's about belief and like believing in themselves. They get to a point where they're feeling a lot of pressure. They know they need to implement these things or make decisions, but something is stopping them. And usually that comes down to whether or not they feel worthy.
Yeah, do you think they feel like they don't, like what they planned was, they're not capable of it, and they're just like, never mind, I can't? Or do you think it's a perfectionism thing where they don't?
I think I believe that it's their own belief of themselves and whether or not they deserve that success.
What's the last thing you'd like to say in regards to what you do and some of the FAQs of the things you run into and the inner workings of working with clients and working with business owners? Like, what are some things you can kind of jot off the list that people are thinking?
I would say the biggest thing is believe in yourself and find the confidence. Confidence is on the outside. We can all show confidence, but if we understand our own value and our own worthiness to go after those dreams, that's where the key is. If this resonates with you, then I would highly encourage you to reach out. These are things that I can work with you on, whether it's individual coaching, group coaching, or our Bold Business class. We also have free workshops. Please check out our website at profectusbusiness.com for all of the events and information.